Have you ever gotten barricaded for a show? Like got to a festival super early and just stood in the front row all day long?
What do you do all day?
They don't drink any water because then they'll have to pee and they'll have to lose their spot.
It's impressive if you're willing to put in the good fight and put on diapers and yourself to go see it.
Unless people are shitting themselves in the front row, you're not a real fan.
Atreyu is on my show this week talking about their new record, which includes an Audioslave cover.
You can't f that one up, you know?
Yeah.
We also talk about them inventing metalcore, our mutual love for Alkaline Trio, and what happened to their original vocalist, Alex.
He shit his pants on stage and we...
Yes, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Dude, well, it's awesome to have both you guys jumping on. I appreciate you taking time to chat with me here on the Jesse Lee Show. And dude, awesome time getting to hang out with you guys at When We Were Young Festival. That was such a blast, man. I still feel dried out and tired from that whole thing, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a long weekend, but a fun one for sure.
Yeah, dude, I saw some, unfortunately I did not get over to see your sets because I was stuck in the Hot Topic tent for most of the day, but I saw some videos, man. It looked like it was popping off over there.
It was fun, man. You never know how it's going to be in the kind of the tent stages, but it was cracking off pretty hard. It was fun.
Yeah, because you guys played later in the evening, right? So it was dark out?
Yeah. 9:55 or something like that.
Yeah, the tent stages seemed like they'd be great during the day. Obviously, when the sun's beating down on your ass, like, but yeah, I guess it didn't affect you guys.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Were you able to get out and see any sets over the weekend?
Yeah, I saw a few. I didn't watch any on Saturday, but on Sunday I saw The Used. I watched Seosin. I watched Mike Hem. Who else did I see? Under Oath.
Nice.
Saw a few bands.
Nice.
I was hungover most of Saturday, so I was watching a lot of the bands from my hotel room. I could see the event from the room, and you could hear it pretty decently too. I mean, not as good as being right there, but enough where I'm like, oh, Saves the Day's playing right now. I'll stand here in my window with my headache and my bottle of water and enjoy the show
in my underwear.
Yeah,
in my underwear.
Yeah, I saw that on social media. A lot of people got free shows that were in the vicinity of the Vegas area. Like, dude, I saw videos of people like from the hotel room, like taking video of when they open the gates up and people start running to barricade, which is just like I saw people getting trampled and like, dude, guys, it's My Chemical Romance. Like, come on. There's no reason to hurt people.
They're not playing for like 10 hours.
Yeah, dude, I don't.
What do you do all day?
Dude, that I do not understand. I don't know how I've known people to do it. I've talked to them. They've explained it to me. I still don't get it. But they stand there for 12 hours. They don't drink any water because then they'll have to pee and they'll have to lose their spot. So they just stand there and bake. Like, it's hot. I don't get it.
And die.
Yeah.
And then they just die.
Dude, if you reincarnated Kurt Cobain and put him back on stage, I still probably would have to go take a piss break at some point before he plays. Like, there's no way.
There's no way you're not going to rip a beverage while that's happening.
Yeah,
this is a celebratory moment.
Yeah, I don't want to see Nirvana sober. Like,
and even further, there's people you got to think like they're waiting their 12 hours once they get through the doors. That's not including how long they've been waiting in line at the door.
Yeah,
could be another. We're talking. Yeah, they're camping. Like, I mean, good on them. It's impressive if you're willing to put in the good fight and put on diapers and shit yourself to go see it.
Dude, that's probably hard.
I mean, you have to. You don't have a choice.
What we're saying is, from now on, unless people are shitting themselves in the front row, you're not a real fan.
Yeah, you're not a real fan.
Fans,
pretty much.
Real fans poop their pants.
Yeah. Well, even aside from that, again, like you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You might have to fly to Vegas, and you're missing all these. There's like 50 other bands. You're missing so many other good bands just for one.
Everything.
Oh, God.
Yeah. The price also, what doesn't include is your dignity that you have to get rid of too. Get your pants and don't get me wrong. I mean, nobody's standing close to you at that point, or they are, you would think that smell. Somebody behind you or next to you is squishing up against poo-poo diaper while watching Mike Hem.
Listen, man, I had my pants in my adult life. Yeah, I've done it once. It probably won't be the last time, but I can say that I immediately wanted those pants off. I did not want to keep wearing those for the next. And the baking in the sun, definitely not.
Let alone be hugging strangers, like just for 12 hours. Just what if it happens before you even cross those doors and it's like poop and then doors open, you got to go running in. So
What
that's
if
squishing in between your legs? I mean, friction's happening. It gets
When we're young, needs to sell quality of life courses for all
they
these
do?
people
Yeah,
before they get to the show, so
yeah.
that they can just live well.
Like what?
They don't
Imagine
force
like
themselves.
you shit your pants and like Gerard Way catches eyes with you. He reaches down and give you a shake because he's like, "This is your big moment." He's like, "Come up here, fan. Come sing with me." And he's like, "The fuck? Did you shit your pants?"
your poo-poo pants.
And then
You
on
know,
stage, he's like, "This dude shit his pants." And everyone's like, "Ah!" And then your life is
Ruined.
shattered.
Ruined,
Ruined.
man.
Yeah.
well, they have those
man.
ads for gambling. You know, when shit hits a fan, and you're like, you got a gambling problem that says like when the fun stops. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like they need those for the poopy pants
Yeah.
people. Like
When the shit hits
when
the
the
pants.
fun when the shit hits the pants, when the fun stops, and you're like, you call this number immediately.
Oh my God. I love it. All right. Shifting from shit. I mean, we'll come back to shit, of course, at some point. But so the new album, because this podcast episode will be out in the future. So in the future, this album will be out next week, and the album will have already been out. So the new reimagined album, Pronoia. I had to look this word up. I never heard this word before. And I got the definition right here. It says a state of mind where someone believes that the world is conspiring to help them, which sounds like some wishful thinking. I have never heard of that in my life, but that's great. Like, what inspired the title for you guys?
But just to be clear too, we also had to look up the definition.
Good, it's not just
Our
me.
bass player Porter is very full of knowledge, and it's like he came up with it. And
thank God he's not in this call.
Well, what that means, but no, it just kind of like it made sense to. I feel like the sort of energy that led us to do a release like this, and the overarching just sort of energy in the band, I think right now is just a very positive one. And I feel like there's a lot of things that are happening to us that just, it feels very welcoming from the world. And it feels like the world wants it to happen, which being in a band, that's always not the case. You kind of battle that, and you battle the internet, and you battle all the things, the negativity in the world. But right now it feels like that. It feels like this is all supposed to be happening. And like the energy in the band is just sort of leading us in that direction to do interesting things and just kind of like have fun with every step.
And the root of us doing that was initially through VIP meet and greets, and where we offered an acoustic set, like a few songs as part of the package. If you came and saw us in this intimate setting and, paid for the upgraded ticket and stuff, we're like, well, let's do something special. And just because of our love for all different types of music and even things that we've all collectively done outside of this band, as well as in this band, we're like, we should do, kind of reimagined versions of these songs and play them acoustically for the VIPs. And we didn't want to just chug away on guitars and do it as if, we were just turning the distortion off and playing the songs. We wanted it to feel like it was supposed to. Yes, we wanted it to feel like it was meant to be, played that way, and just bring a new light to it. And in doing this, we weren't really sure what to expect from the people that came, and if they would like it or not, and be like, okay, next, let's just get to the heavy riffs. But in this case, everyone was kind of really impressed and surprised that we kind of had that side of us available in our arsenal of things that we love to do. And it inspired us, even just from them saying, like, you guys should record something like this. This is really powerful and really special. And I think a lot of people would really enjoy hearing this kind of side and presentation of songs that we already created over our, years of catalogs. And that's kind of the root of it. So I think the fact that we then went and did it, there's this cool energy around it because of that, and I think, the Pronoia, the word that itself and us calling that all kind of plays into the fact that like that happened because good energy kind of, us just, led us there. Yeah.
Yeah, really prevailed for sure. Yeah, because I mean, I think it is like a true reimagining too, because like you hear a lot, there's a lot of bands that put out reimaginings and like quotation lasers, the reimagining where it's just like a fucking acoustic version of the song, like you were saying, or maybe like they're still got drums on it, but they add some piano to it or something. It just doesn't really change it up. And like I like the approach you guys took to it as like a true reimagining.
Thank you. I mean, we wanted to make a point. Like I'd say there's like 2 songs on there that are, sort of, maybe only one. I think it's really X's and O's. It's the only one that kind of like stays in the lane of just being sort of closer to an acoustic version. Mm-hmm. But even like that one, that is more, I guess, true to form. Like Porter sings on one of the verses, and we changed up like some of the like lyric stuff and like altered melody.
Guitar solo is different too.
The guitar solo is different. Like there's a bunch of things different about it, but the rest of them, like, I mean, we kind of definitely made a point to give them a whole new life. You know what I mean? Like almost treat these like new songs again, because to a lot of people, these will be new songs. People, you know, there will be people that'll hear this. Like, I think it's just giving everything like a whole new life, you know?
Yeah, you're right. It might be like the first introduction for a lot of fans to the Atreyu sound, because it is going to hit a broader audience. It's going to hit more of a mainstream listener as well, for these versions. So yeah, it might bring in some new ears and eyes. It's kind of like even like the approach you guys took to it, it reminds me of kind of like what Nirvana did with the Unplugged album, with like, I mean, obviously different genre, of course, but like, they threw in covers there as well. And like you guys done this Pronoia. And then I think, in that same respect as well, Nirvana like probably hit a new audience when they dropped the Unplugged album, because it was such a more broader appeal, like, I mean, that All Apologies, the Unplugged version of it, I think you hear that one more than the recorded version ever on, radios and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's massive. I mean, that's kind of the approach. I mean, we've even been throwing around the idea of, doing a performance kind of similar to that, and maybe inviting a handful of fans out and just doing, that kind of vibe and bringing that back, because there's something really powerful about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Yeah, like some candles and get like the whole vibe.
Yeah. There was something super intimate about it that I thought was special.
Were there any Oh, you're fine. Do you need a roll, or are you good?
No. She just forgot I was on a podcast, so she was
all right.
Keep calling.
It's the Jesse Lee Show. Tell her this is a big deal.
It's a big deal, guys.
Yeah, you're talking about like getting to change up these tracks and do them differently. Like, were there any spots in the record too, where like, some of these songs, like, pretty far down the discography of Atreyu that you wrote a long time ago. So it's like, were there any songs where it's like, oh, cool, I get a second chance to fix this vocal part or this guitar part that I didn't like that I did the first time,
I mean, Dan finally had a second chance to play a saxophone solo instead of a guitar solo, so that's nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
But there's definitely, it's funny though, there's like one specific vocal moment, lyric moment that I think I sang differently, and that's just because I've sang it that way live forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we ended up like doing like the lyric book, whatever, and we're like, oh, that's not the lyric. We're like, oh, well, it is now. It is like now. I've been singing for forever. Yeah. But no, I think that it was cool to kind of revisit some of these and like totally change. Like, I think like Becoming the Bull at this point is a very old song, and that turned into like a Western song. Mm. It's like it sounds like it being like a like Kill Bill
Tarantino or something.
Tarantino movie, but it was definitely cool to revisit some of the old ones. I mean, the theft for us was another old one. It's like when we wrote that song originally, that was us trying to do like a Danny Elfman kind of like vibe song, but with the tools that we had in our pocket at that time. And like this version is just the full on, like there's nothing. It's like, no, this is the Danny Elfman version that we would have loved to be able to do back then, but we didn't know how yet, Yeah.
So, way less limitations now.
Some second chances, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, because you guys have been playing these songs for like some of these for like 20 years. So like, yeah, you've probably developed like a way to do it and perform it live that you like, because we were talking about before, like that version is the version that you're familiar with. So yeah, when you go back to the record, it's like, oh shit, like we're not even playing that time signature anymore or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I also love that you had the cojones to take on a Chris Cornell track, the Audioslave song, Like a Stone, man. Was that intimidating for you?
It was. And at first I was like, I don't know about that. And I have to hand it to the rest of my band because they were all like, no. You have to, like, you're going to do it and it's going to sound good. And we're doing it. So I think that I would have had some more reservations personally, but they were all very kind and pushing of me to do it. But it turned out great. Like it's one of the more fun songs I think we've ever done. I think for me personally, it's like one of my favorite vocal performances I've ever done. Just because you kind of like, you have to, like, you can't fuck that one up, Yeah. So, but like, it turned out great, man. It's a really, really beautiful song in itself. And I think we just kind of turned up the haunt a little bit a little bit more and kind of just gave it even more of a creepy kind of haunting vibe, you know?
Yeah. Well, good job, Dan. Thanks for encouraging him to do this song. Because
my pleasure.
I feel like I haven't heard. I mean, I'm sure there's been covers of that track, but I feel like I can't think of any like notable covers of that song because, again, Chris Cornell does come under the umbrella of some of the untouchable vocalists out there. So a lot of people don't even try it. But yeah, it's cool to have like a new version of that track and like new reimagined version to listen to. And from a band that's, you know, been, it's not like you guys are a brand new band, so your first single or anything like that. You actually have built up the respect in the community to do it too. So yeah, I think it came out great.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That was Dan's also point too, is we're like, is that song old enough yet to cover? And we're like, yeah, that song's it's definitely old enough where people would probably hear ours and have not even heard the original.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
That's totally been a thing. We're like, oh, great song, guys. Or like, this one's a little different than your usual music. And we're like, it's a cover song.
Yeah, we covered Bon Jovi back in the day and 20 years ago. And there's, even at that time, you know, the 80s were, you know, like 15 years prior to that, really. And which is weird to even think at the time. But there was a good amount of people that were just getting into the style of music that we're playing that had never heard of Bon Jovi. And they just thought that You Give Love a Bad Name was an Atreyu song. And it's interesting how there's a lot of bands that grow. Sometimes their initial fame and popularity comes from them doing a cover song. I mean, look at like Limp Bizkit. They covered Faith by George Michaels. You would never know that's a George Michael song. You've never heard it prior. I mean, it's such a different spin on it. Bad Wolves, you know, with Zombie.
Yeah. Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah. It's a thing. So you never know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you guys did the Bon Jovi song. You did that for like a movie or a video game or something, right?
It was for just like a
was it Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Movie. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, old school.
Back when that was a thing for the metal and hardcore community.
Yeah.
Randomly getting put on really big movie soundtracks.
Right. Like, remember when like every new metal band was in every vampire movie back in the 2000s?
We were one of them. We were dude, I remember if your band wasn't cool unless you were in an underworld film.
Yeah. Dude,
it's crazy.
That rules. Was there, also I saw a clip of you guys playing Like a Stone live on TikTok. Did somebody really shit their pants in the front row? Okay, I just had to know. I told you this conversation was coming back to shit.
It's just me trying to spark the algorithm.
Yeah.
And it did.
I'm watching that video. I'm like, holy shit, did they? And then like, wait a minute. Brandon fucking me here. Dude, that rules.
I wish. We don't have those friends yet.
Yeah, I know. At some point, someone's going to shit their pants in that song. Especially after this interview. Someone's going to prove a point.
They're like, finally, now that I know they want it.
Yeah. He's like, well, I've been thinking about shitting my pants at a Atreyu show for years, but now that I know they wanted me to do it, like, yeah, okay.
Confirmation.
Yeah, we're just going to start, instead of Travis tossing out donuts, we'll start tossing out laxatives and laxatives and gallons of milk and just letting people go to town.
Oh. What a creamy cocktail. Sounds so good.
This is the shittiest interview.
Oh man, were there any covers that you guys were considering for this record that you didn't pull the trigger on, or were there
do you remember the other ones? Do you remember the other ones that we kind of talked about first? There was like two others, and I can't remember what they were.
I don't. The two that we did were kind of the ones that were the most. I think those were the initial ideas. So I think everything else was kind of like, well, what else can we do? Just to see if there's something better. But I don't think anything.
Nothing made it too far enough.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, one of them, you actually know one we still should do. We've got to is Skulls by the Misfits.
Oh yeah,
that'd be fun.
Me and Dan have done like an acoustic version of Skulls, like here and there, and we were gonna record that and didn't. But that would actually be cool. It comes off a bit more like it almost comes off as like haunting. A little bit of like a haunting like doo-woppy vibe.
That'd be cool, man. You know what's weird is Misfits are, of course, like one of the biggest T-shirt companies in the world. You know, everyone wears like the mainstream celebrities always wear Misfits, but you don't hear very many like covers of Misfits songs like in like more of a less punky version. You know, I mean, you hear like Metallica versions and stuff, but like not a lot of like popular versions of Misfits songs. You think they would try? Yeah, it's such a world like culturally relevant, logo. You think like, I don't know, Sabrina Carpenter should do a Misfits song and then wear the Misfits shirt.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It would work. They should have to cover the song to be able to wear the shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a big fan of taking especially like punk songs, metal songs, whatever, and turning them into ballads. The idea of that, even like Skulls, because a lot of times the chords are used, the melodies, the lyrical content, like have like a really sad or like a dark or somber kind of thing, people breaking up or dying or whatever it is. And if you, applying a more somber vibe to it, there was a version that I was messing around with years ago, because we covered Clean Sheets by the Descendants.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, man, Clean Sheets would actually make a really good ballad. Like the lyrics are about somebody like cheating on you and stuff. And it's, if you slow it down and do it on piano, it's like a pretty like sad song, as opposed to being kind of this more kind of like happy, like somebody cheated on me. It's like, it's more, it's a little bit more like, man, like I'm fucking bummed. And like, you can feel the weight of it when you present it that way. So something like Skulls, it's already like, I think what made that song so enticing is the fact that it's like they has this fun kind of happy kind of punk thing going on, but like the lyrics are like really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that the contrast of that is which is really exciting about it. So like flipping that contrast on its head and like the way we slow it down and we make it kind of like haunting and slow. That the lyrics kind of hit. There's like a bigger weight to those lyrics. About fucking wanting somebody's skulls.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was like one of the best parts of Misfits is like the juxtaposition of their songs being so fast and upbeat sounding, but like they're singing about killing and like murder and like I always love that in general. Like anytime there's a song that like sounds super upbeat, but then the lyrics are just like depressing as hell. I was like, wait a minute, what's he saying in this song?
That's literally what got us all into Alkaline Trio.
Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%, dude. It's like awesome. I think Alkaline Trio is probably like my I don't want to say my goth awakening or anything, but like it's kind of like the first band that maybe like see like the darker side of like pop punk and emo. I was like, oh shit, like these guys are spooky. I
think Alkaline Trio and like AFI for us at the beginning was like that's the reason why we did like matching all black clothes with like red freaking eye makeup or like that was the inspiration for all that.
That makes sense. Yeah, you can definitely go back and see that.
Gothy punk hardcore
thing.
Yeah, I remember discovering you guys back in the day, and like it blew me away. First of all, that you like Brandon, that you were playing drums and singing like on these songs, because I feel like that wasn't like a common thing back then. I mean, I'm sure, of course, there were bands that have done it, but like that was like the first time I saw, especially a band that was making the kind of music that I liked, like the pop punk, emo, screamo, whatever you want to call it. Like I was like, oh shit, this is so cool. Like, how did you guys come upon that dynamic to begin with? Like, when did you decide to go that route?
It was just kind of like by chance. Like me and Dan, at the same time as Atreyu kind of starting, we're in like another pop punk band. And literally one day, like our singer couldn't make it. We were recording like in like this, we had like a makeshift studio at Dan's house, and I had written a song. So I just like sang on the demo.
Oh, okay.
And I got to hand it to Dan again for being like, dude, you can sing. Like, why don't you sing in Atreyu? Like, we don't have any singing. Like, that'd be cool. And at the time, it was like, there wasn't tons of like hardcore bands like that had a decent amount of like singing as well, like big melodic choruses.
Yeah.
So it was just in kind of an effort to like do something different within what we knew was going on. And so I just started singing. I started doing the melodic stuff, and Alex would do the heavy vocals, and it just kind of sprung from there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember when you guys broke out, like I remember a lot of local bands started trying to do that. I was in a band that tried to do that. And like, dude, it's, it's so much harder to sing while playing the drums. Like, a lot of dudes out there could not pull that off. They're like, Yeah,
it's not fun. I had to revisit that a bunch this weekend, and it's fucking hard.
Yeah, dude. That rules.
But yeah, it's cool, man. Worked out.
Yeah, clearly,
Yeah, I actually remember the moment we were demoing our song Tulips Are Better off actually an EP we put out of Fractures in the Facade of Porcelain Booty, but it was also on Suicide Notes, Butterfly Kisses. And it was at the time that we decided like, hey, Brandon, you probably should do some more of the singing. Alex, you should do more of the screaming kind of thing. And we're like, can you at this for this song in particular, like, can you do the singing part and play the double bass at the same time? And he was like, I don't know, let me try. And just went and just did it. We're like, I guess you can do that. So you're going to do that now.
Dude, yeah, that's some intense cardio, man. Jesus Christ.
Hard, bro. I forgot. I've forgotten until this weekend. That shit's hard.
Yeah, you're one of the few bands. I figure I can probably count on like one hand how many bands made it out of that whole like screamo era into like a successful modern rock career. Like, you guys are still pumping out albums, and you're still being played on the radio. You're getting the big festivals, you know. Like back then, like did you? So like back then, I considered you guys screamo, emo screamo, and like, I had never even heard the term metalcore. I feel like back then, and I feel like it kind of like retrospectively got put at like labeled that, you know, as time has gone on. Like at the time, where did you guys just consider yourself a hardcore band, or were you just like a rock band?
Yeah, I mean, really, we came up in the hardcore scene. Like, you know, we were our shows we would play locally. It was all, you know, Adamantium, Death by Stereo, Throwdown, Bleeding Through, like all these hardcore bands. And then even when we started touring, it was like we toured with hardcore bands. It was like, you know, Snapcase, Voices Fire, you know, like
Shai Hulud,
and stuff like that. So it was like that was where we came from. And at our core, really, like we were just like hardcore kids. We'd always just go to hardcore shows. But then obviously once we invented metalcore, then we started going on that route. But yeah, I mean, it had to be done.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, our whole existence as a band, people have put, you know, a shiny sticker of what we are on us, but it's almost always like deterred us to become something else.
Yeah,
you know, it was like, you're a hardcore band. It's like, okay. It's like, well, you're a screamo band. It's like, okay. And then you're like, oh, you're a metalcore band. I'm like, okay. Well,
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's always kind of helped us evolve into something different.
Right.
I mean, the root of, you know, even before being into hardcore, like we started as a punk band, you know, so like we started with punk, got really into that, and that kind of evolved into like almost wanting like a stronger drug. And it's like, that's when you get into hardcore, and then you get into that, and then you kind of like, if you want a stronger drug, you get into metal, you know, and like it just kind of intensifies. But also at the same time, as much as we liked all this kind of punk and hardcore and metal, we also really liked pop punk and emo, and even just like stuff from the 80s and 90s that was just, you know, kind of just more chill music, you know, even listening to like Coldplay and stuff. I mean, just anything. We really liked such a vast variety of music. And if we were going to have a band, we wanted the core of it to kind of be punk, hardcore, metal kind of thing, because that's what excited us the most. But as far as getting all the feels of all the things that we like about music into this one band that had the most potential out of anything we were doing, we're like, well, this is our best shot, is this band. Any idea that we have that we love musically, like if we're going to put it out there, it's got to kind of go through this band. So that's where all these different influences come in, and why we're not super fast or super heavy or super just singing or mellow or whatever all the time. It's such a combination of it, and every album, it just takes you on a totally different journey, because we have so much to say in so many different, you know, musical languages, that there's you know, there's never there's endless amounts of combinations of things that we can do with all these different inspirations.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to like use like a journalistic buzzword or whatever, but it almost like you guys did have a lot more pop sensibilities in a lot of those bands back in the day. Like you prioritize the hooks as well. There's a lot of bands like they kind of made the hook an afterthought.
Well, definitely, like, I mean, that came from us, you know, it came from us growing up on Tom Petty and growing up on stuff like that. And then, you know, even like Dan having heavy influence with like, you know, Def Leppard, Aerosmith, like big bands in the 80s. And then even when in a more modern stance, when we were writing all these songs back in the day, we were listening to bands like Saves the Day or, you know, even like Face to Face used to have big choruses, like all these kind of like more like pop punk or like rock bands were what we were into, you know? So it all just came from that.
Yeah, you could definitely see the influences like in the lineage of the music and how it's progressed like over the years. Like you guys have come so far from being, you know, the band that invented metalcore to now being like, you know, a great modern rock band that can kind of spread your seed, if you will, across all the genres. I could have found a less sexual way to say that probably, but we're going with that.
It's funny is like you said spread your seed and I couldn't not do that.
Yeah.
So at least we're on the same page.
Yeah. So speaking of that, again, we can, if you guys are tired of talking about this, we can brush past it. But of course, I had Alex on my podcast last year, and he kind of told his side of the story of what happened. So, guys, my question for you guys is, what happened there with Alex?
He shit his pants on stage, and we.
Yes, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew he just
couldn't have it.
Yeah.
You know, there's this thing that I think where people get into a band and feel entitled to every juicy detail of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm best friends with Dan. He's one of my best friends on planet Earth. I don't feel entitled to know every juicy detail about him and his wife's life because that's their life.
That's fair.
When you're in a band, I think it's like a marriage. You're in a band with 4 other people. And I think that the most important thing that people should understand and just take away from what happened with our band is the most important thing is that today, right now, in the current moment we're living, Alex is doing better than he's done in a long time, and you could tell he's making great music. He seems good mentally. He seems very happy, and so do we. So are we. I think that everything happens for a reason. I think that everything in our band needed to happen for everyone to continue to be happy.
Yeah.
Would you think that that's fair, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my perspective is like, being in a band is like, it's like a marriage, and you have your other band members, which are your spouses, and then you have your kids, which are your songs, and fans and stuff like that. And like, I feel like our relationship was for a long time kind of staying together for the kids, sort of thing, where at the core of it, I don't think everybody was truly involved, was happy, and you just feel there's a weight around that. And I think it just kind of got to a point where I all realized we don't need to do this and just be miserable. Like if we're not happy, if everyone's not truly happy, let's stop doing this for the kids and let's do this for ourselves to be happy. And that just seemed like the most amicable way of us, achieving that is us all parting ways. So,
yeah, I mean, it's like you said, relationship. Sometimes you have to split to become the best version of yourself. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess too, there's also the element of just the outsider's perspective. Everyone forms their opinions, what they think happened, or taking sides of this person's like that, or these people are like that, or whatever. But it's a lot of people don't see it from the perspective of, if just imagine that you're, going through a divorce of some sort, and you have people that you've never even met before in your life, like taking the side of your significant other that maybe did something horrible to you, and really put you through a lot, and they're knowing nothing about your life, are being vocal with you about how they feel about you not being with your significant other anymore. And you're like, you guys don't even know what my life is. How do you have any opinion about anything when you literally know nothing? So it's really interesting just seeing even just people in chat, in comment sections going, arguing back and forth about stuff. And we'll read some of these things and we're like, these people have no idea what they're talking about. It's wild.
Yeah. And there's a thing too, where it's like, there's through this whole process, I'm the other singer in the band. So quite obviously, sorry. I did this again. Sorry. I'm the other singer in the band. So quite obviously, everything was.
Oh, we lose him.
People need to stop calling me. People need to stop calling my phone. Sorry. So being the other singer in the band, like everyone immediately was kind of like, there's a lot of like, fuck you, this was your fault. I had to deal with that for a long time too, where it's like, I want to defend myself, but also don't feel the need to, but also just like had to kind of just take it on the chin that like a bunch of people thought I was a piece of shit, and it was just like, okay, like once again, you don't know what happened and no one knows, but it's like I said, I look at it, I'm always focused on the future and focused on the greater good of everything. So right now, our band is at a really, really wonderful position. and so is he, and that's what matters most.
Absolutely. Yeah, that had to be a weird transition because like you are the other singing. You've been there since day one, so it's not like you're just like the new guy that came in to fill somebody's shoes. It's like you were been there the whole time. So then you've got to watch these people in comment section and stuff. People like who have been your fans for all these years shit talk you all of a sudden. It's like, yo, you know I've been here the whole time, right? Like,
well, and that's part of the reason why we decided to go the way we did. So that we didn't. There was discussion of trying to find a new person. Like, oh, do we get a new guy? And again, it was the rest of the dudes in the band that were like, well, you've been here the whole time, so wouldn't it be less weird for people to not have to get used to anyone new? They're just here the dude that's already been doing it. And same with Porter. I mean, Porter's been screaming on our records since Death Grip. So like, that's a voice that they're used to also. So it's like, okay, it's retaining as much of the band as we still can. As much as humanly possible to not change much for the listener. That seemed like it was made the most sense, and it's working. So
yeah, it's clearly working. It was a smooth transition. No bumps at all.
Just internet bumps. Just internet lumps.
Yeah, internet bumps. So okay, we're in the future. Pronoia's out. Everyone's loving it. Everyone's streaming the crap out of it. We're all having a good time. We're all spreading our seeds out there. What is next for Atreyu? What have you guys got planned? You got some new music for a new album working on, or tours? What we got?
We got a lot of things. Yeah. We're a little bit of both. We've already started writing new music. And it's just a matter of when that'll come out. We've got some fun plans for next year that we can't quite talk about yet, but will be a lot of fun. And the train's going to keep on rolling. Everyone that asks this question, it's like without being able to tell all the details. If you're an Atreyu fan, it's going to be a really fun 3 or 4 years for you.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there's a lot of forward thought.
That's good. Yeah, you guys are doing Shipwrecked, right? We're Shipwrecked.
We are. We're on that in January.
That's exciting. I'm afraid of cruises, for being in open waters and drowning, but I might come just to watch you guys because that sounds cool.
Hey, what a better place to get over your fears.
Right, yeah.
Dude, just helicopter in, helicopter out. You don't even have to stay whole time. No big deal.
Dude, you'll see me.
The Jessup chopper.
Dude, that'd be badass. I'll see if SiriusXM's got it in their budget to chopper me out there.
Got to be in the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You'll see me on the boat wearing a life jacket the whole time, like just drinking my margarita. Like, you can take it off, man. Like, no.
Your margarita has a life jacket?
Yeah. Oh, well, dudes, it's been so good chatting with you guys. Got any last minute plugs or anything? You want to plug your bourbon before we get out of here? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah. You can check out our bourbon with 3 Chords Bourbon. It's delicious. It's not just because we're in a band. It's actually good.
It's actually good bourbon.
It's actually good. That's my sales pitch.
Yeah. Well, guys, anything, Dan, on your end? You got any personal, you start any side hustles you got to push?
Sure. I have a company called Plugins. You can go check out. We make cool keychain holders that look like.
Oh, no shit. He really does have a side hustle. All right.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Let's pump some stuff. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on Amazon. You can get them all over. They're super
keychain holders?
Yeah. If you Google keychain holder, amp keychain holder, if you go on Amazon, look it up, you'll find them on there. We currently make Marshall and Fender ones, and there's a lot of other ones coming soon. I can't say just yet, but there's a lot of other ones coming soon.
Dude, that's badass. I'm going to pick one of those up, man.
And I got a lawn and seed business I got started in Nashville. We do specialize in lawn, seed, and aeration. So if you need
fertilization
done with your lawn, you call me 1-800-B-Sales Lawns.
B-Sales Lawn. Dude, that's amazing.
That one's not real, unfortunately.
Dude, people are calling that number right now. I guarantee you. They're trying to get
B-Sales Lawns. They don't realize there's too many numbers.
I can get the guy from Atreyu to fucking work my lawn. Fuck yeah.
Fertilize the shit out of it.
Yep, exactly. The shit into it.
Just out there spreading your seed, singing.
Yep.
Yeah, just slinging turds all over somebody's lawn.
It sounds very me.
Right side of the lawn bed tonight. That's good shit, man. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me. Everybody listening and watching, please go listen to Pronoia and go follow and engage with Atreyu online, especially the one where they shit their pants on stage. If you're going to go see them live, please shit your pants. And above all else, please, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with somebody that doesn't suck. All right? Take it easy now. And bye-bye.